Omega Red is one of those characters that has metal in his body that's almost as indestructible as adamantium, as you can see here. Omega Red. When you think of characters like Omega Red, you think of beings that are a nuisance to Wolverine. And for good reason, he's a pest to Wolverine. And honestly, he has a few similarities. His history is a little vague, but at one point he was a serial killer, ended up getting in the super soldier program, kind of similar to Wolverine, like Weapon X and stuff, that kind of stuff, where he got surgery. There's a time when his own mutant ability was actually a threat to his own life, so he had to go off of others to help him stay healthy, instead of having a healing factor. Omega Red had this thing called the death factor. He was trying to find ways to negate it and stuff of that such. The part that makes him similar to Wolverine is that he has weapons implanted in him that can make him fight beings that are way physically stronger than him or higher tiers because of the overpowered gear. They're kind of like adamantium, but not as strong, but close enough, but they're flexible. His body literally generating some kind of bioplasmic energy that inhibits the function of living tissue. One could even argue and say it's some kind of death spores. Blitzing him will backfire because he could just release them in the air and you're done for. One could say he's a tough being off gate because of hacks alone, without even physical strength, speed, and etc. being needed in the equation. Like, imagine walking towards his vicinity and this bubble. Once you go in this bubble, you can kind of die if you don't have the resistance or immunity to it, these death spores. So he's kind of hacksy off gate, thinking of it like that, a death factor. Just from getting close, he can instantly take out folks with it. Does the same to characters like Nightcrawler from getting close. Same with even characters like Psylocke, Iceman, Beast, and Jubilee, because they feel sick. Just getting out of cryo just kills 5 men like nothing. And that's the thing about the metal. Carbonadium is what helps him actually not be killed from his own mutant power, which is crazy, right? Negates his own death factor. So it plays its part. In more recent-ish stuff, he kind of can do some life absorption too. It's kind of centered around the death factor, mutant power, along with his overpowered gear like these tentacles. He's weakened characters like Cable, characters like Daredevil. This helps him fight beings that are way physically stronger than him, like Colossus, even draining him, causing Colossus pain, unmetallicing up, unmetaling himself. Messes up Sabretooth pretty badly, even causing MODOK stuff to go on the fritz, even malfunctioning his stuff because of his literal ability to drain living things of their vitality, draining them of their health or life force. One can say Omega Red summons his death factor. One can say he can drain beings of their vitality to increase his own strength if he feels weak. And once again, it's a reason why he doesn't make himself get weaker from his own mutant power is because of the metal that he has. Yep, can siphon off their life force and use it for himself. It's only temporarily though, so it's not like he's going to absorb all these life forces and it's like a permanent power up, you know what I mean? You're probably thinking this dude is cheap. Well, gas masks do work against him, so yeah, that's how you can counter his death spores. And then here's the classic. If you're just too strong, of course, he's not going to be able to do too much if you're just way stronger than him. Some beings can just endure the grip no matter what. Like even characters like Sabretooth can resist it, so you better get to it fast when it comes to that life drain and stuff, because somebody as strong as Sabretooth can kind of overwhelm you before you have a chance to hold on to him too much. But honestly, how strong is Omega Red though? He's actually strong enough to rip off a man's arm, tearing through the floor is no issue. Smashes holes in brick walls is nothing. Tying him up in heavy chains will not work. He would just break out with strength. When it comes to if you're 200 pounds, 500 pounds, or whatever weight, he can just toss you all over the place during combat with these tentacles that helps him for long or close range combat. Even big aircrafts like helicopters, he can grab and hold them in place with his tentacles, like his own little form of web or ropes, metal ropes. Huge rocks, he just slings. MODOK armor, he can tear it apart. Omega Red is a major nuisance for even characters like Warpath, even Domino, slapping him. Not to mention he can make the pheromones sap their strength, so that doesn't help either. In turn, making him stronger, making the fight actually go in his favor, even if they had the advantage at first. So he's one of those characters that can kind of turn the tide. Omega Red legit even got in an entanglement with Luke Cage, use his tentacles to do this to all this environment. The tentacle strength is just crazy. Ripping doors off the truck. Strength to toss you far in the air, even if you're Iron Fist. His blunt punches seem to kind of be able to affect Luke Cage too. If I had to put my money on it, I would say Luke Cage is normally strong to him, but them tentacles kind of makes it to where even Luke Cage can't just outright break out of them. It's hard to get a read on his physical strength because one could say all his physical strength that's needed to be analyzed is the tentacle strength. I mean, why would he need these to actually use his strength? And when you look at the information about him, you get an idea of his abilities and stuff like that, like the death stuff I already told you about, hand-to-hand, combat military tactician. They say his strength is like this, so one could say he's in the Spider-Man range's bare bones minimum physical strength-wise, but can give people that are way stronger than that a harder issue because of his hacks with life, vitality absorption, stuff like that. this type of stuff, life force absorption stuff, you get it. He's kind of similar to Wolverine, like how Wolverine's claws wasn't technically a part of him at first, but was like put in him. That's kind of how Omega Red is. However strong these is technically him, because you can't really disarm him of it. It's just a part of his body at this point. But in this case, you can just literally see him kicking without necessarily using the ropes. And with all this stuff combined, he can actually damage Iron Man's armor with these tentacles. I mean, who do you know can smash Colossus and Wolverine to the wall after being drained? Beast is somebody I would say is like Spider-Man range-esque strength or durability-esque ranges. He's able to do this to Beast with a punch. This what happens when he gets fed with free life force energy. He can smash the doors. In raw strength, I think it's understood that Colossus had Omega Red beat for sure, but if Omega Red can drain some of his life force, that's a whole different story. It's kind of like a cheap way out or hacks. He was kind of able to crumble up Colossus's metal after being amped up with Colossus's crazy life force, which I assume is better than average considering he's stronger than average by a lot. Characters like Psylocke slash him in the eyes, he's able to kind of recover afterwards and trap her like that. She even stabs him in the chest, but he seems to be able to recover. Him fighting Wolverine should be like a normal thing at this point. That's one of his major people he fights, and he stabs and can bounce back from it. Respect Omega Red and Wolverine's battles. He's even been blasted by Cyclops' blast, helicopter level falls, and he's ready to fight some more. It's almost like any opponent that has a crazy amount of life force, like this occasion with characters like Magic's life force absorbed, he's able to kind of sort of be on some team busting stuff. You see multiple X-Men blasting them, Storm, Wolverine striking them, and he's kind of like holding his own because he's more powerful than ever thanks to the life force absorption type stuff. It's pretty evident he can take a lot of abuse. Even Colossus hitting him with a rock, Omega Red seems uninjured. Not just any old grenades are just going to take him down. Heck, not even some bullets are going to take him down. He can even withstand high-powered bullets, the specs, but yet he still can recover. Whatever he lacks in strength, his durability kind of helps out a lot because taking blows from Colossus is not easy. He can still get back up and fight after that blows from Colossus. Even things that can bring down buildings, he can withstand at levels of impact. He should bare bones minimum have super soldier tier speed, like how Daredevil complements his speed. The same Daredevil that can react in 1/1,000,000th of a second, microsecond. The same one that can detect a 1,000,000th of a second pauses. And Daredevil thinks he's fast. I mean, it's kind of obvious how he's fighting other Marvel characters who are not slow by the history of their feats. Characters like Iron Man, who we know are not slow at all, fighting Rogue and Gambit before they can really dodge or grab them. He's even grabs Cyclops super fast and even makes Jubilee sleepy. And he's not afraid to speed blitz soldiers. His tendrils are also fast enough to block the bullets that are mid-air and then grab them like this to increase himself. It's a standard combat speed thing in Marvel, blocking bullets that are mid-flight and take you out before you realize it. Yeah, capturing him might not go well because he can take down a group of guards very fast. I can even show you an instance of him taking on characters like Cable, a being I have a video about, or a couple videos about on the channel technically, because him and Nate Gray are technically a lot similar. He's taking on top tier being. These tendrils are annoying, and no matter how strong you are, they will be annoying for anybody because of the material they're made are almost indestructible. I will admit Cable was kind of weakened to some degree because he's technically always weakened because he's always fighting that technovirus or whatever. So his telekinesis isn't at his best. So one can say Cable is like above Super Soldier is, but at his full potential, he would be above planet shattering level and stuff like that. But Omega Red got the jump on him here. Life force absorption, cheat code type of tendril type of stuff. A whole bunch of X-Men with a surprise attack. He kind of got the jump on real fast, including Wolverine, Jubilee, Beast, Generation X, off panel, go to sleep right now. You can get an idea of how deadly he is when he's mind controlled because he was able to take on multiple X-Men, Psylocke, Wolverine, Cyclops taking a blast from him. That's what I showed you already. People that can go in your head, still can fight them. It lets you know how much of a threat he is for multiple X-Men type of members. You can also get an idea of Omega Red's strength is to get an idea of the clones that were made from Omega Red. The Omega clan will have their revenge. Can lift up trucks with the tendrils. Can snap heads off. Men get sliced like butter, even if it's straight through the middle. Being hit with a grenade launcher by Deadpool isn't an end-all be-all because he recovers really fast afterwards. Shot hit through a mind, stamped through the chest punch through. Of course, they have a better healing factor than normal. His fighting speed on par with super soldiers, obviously. Deadpool's one of the greatest marksmen and disarms them by cutting the gun. Deadpool, go to sleep. Just like the other Omega Red, he can kind of infect you with bullcrap. This kind of disease, like, bro, what the world? It begins to read your joints, organs, and nervous system as foreign invaders to be destroyed. So he can basically infect you with something, even if you have an absurd healing factor. Other clones like Omega White can kind of aid you with some bullcrap and can eat psychic energy, apparently. And then if we talk about Omega Black, the coils don't seem to be made out of the almost indestructible metal, but Omega Black fills Deadpool with cancer though, so that's not nice. But on a serious note, I would say Omega Red is definitely above super soldiers. Physically, I would say he's closer around the range of Spider family members, but he can definitely give issues to beings much stronger than that tier because of his vitality manipulation, the fact that his cables are super durable, stuff of that such. So it's almost like his strength is irrelevant. He can still affect people with top tiers, and his healing factor is decent, stuff of that such. He can make you pass out just by being near him if you don't take him out fast enough because of the death spores and stuff. Not to mention life, vitality, absorption, and stuff like that to make himself stronger. But that's none of my business. What do you guys think though? How strong do you think Omega Red is? Do you believe he's underrated? What tier do you think he's in? As an overall threat level in hacks, do you believe he's a bigger threat than Colossus? Do you think he can take on characters like Wonder Man and stuff like that because of hacks? His ridiculous metal, his vitality, absorption to make himself stronger, to compete with stronger foes temporarily, death spores that can make you pass out, but this probably won't work on the super duper heavy hitters because of their resistance to poison and stuff and their enhanced healing factor and stuff. But what do you guys think about that? But before I get going, thanks for the donations, guys. Respect them.